Sabona to you, Sabona to yours, from one great spirit to another. Igama lami uThulani Malevu. I am a musician, I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, author. Above all, I'm a great spirit having a human experience. I am called at this moment to share an experience of mine with the EP being out, UBIZO, and also in the process of writing my book, INDABA YAMI. I've written about this experience, but as I was praying just now, Spirit was like, hey, boy, you've got to share this thing today. So, okay, with the EP being out, there's a lot of things I've had to revisit so that I could heal, right? Abandonment issues, my mother's death, family, maternal, paternal. There's a lot of healing that I've had to do, and just my own personal experiences from when I was a young boy to now. So, there's an experience that I had when I was 11. I was still a virgin. Um, we're staying at Jelimnyama, obviously. To those of you that know, grew up at Jelimnyama, Maran Hill, Pine Town, and so we're staying in rentals. This is after I'd spent 4 years away from Uma, and then when I came back, I was doing grade five at that time. Um, I was 11, and so behlala emqashweni like in cottages, and there were about 16 units, and because my mother had two boys that she was staying with, sometimes when the neighbors were going away or would be away for the night, they'd ask, hi, Tim, can one of your sons maybe anglalele endlini and stuff like that. Oh, sharp, great. So that's one time this uncle says, hey, I just got a call from emsebenzini kumele ngiyongena. Initially bengangeni, but bengicela maybe one of abafana bangidlalele endlini. And I was like, no, it's cool, no problem. You know, and he also mentioned that a friend of his would possibly pass by to collect whatever from Endlini. Great. So came nighttime, we watched Generations, my mother and I, and then eventually I left. Right. So I was the unit in Mumva. I think Beslang Tonga. Well, our units were joined by a wall, and there were about six, three, six, and then another four, and I think another three. Right, almost 16. So obviously I'm in bed, shangting yalala, a knock on the door. Then the friend knocks. Hi, hey, sharp, sharp, cool. I'm here to fetch. I think it's DVDs, manga posies, and yeah, I let him in, and I go back to the bed, and he looks at the DVDs, da ba da ba, he selects what he wants, and then he leaves. And then the following day, came back again, same thing. Again, the uncle was working night shift. This other day, excuse me. So he comes and so he knocks. Obviously, I open the door, but it was a bit interesting that day because he wanted to play a DVD. So there was a compilation of CDs, and there was a porno there, and he took that and he played it. And then I was on the bed, and then he sat on the side of the bed, and he started playing with himself and stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay. And then he moves from the chair to the bed, and then he starts touching me as well, playing with my private part. I didn't know how to feel about it, to be very honest with you. I couldn't scream, couldn't cry. I guess I just froze in the moment. I was doing grade five at the time at Joy Primary School, and did what it did, played with me, played with himself. He came, and then he left. Although my mother and I were very close, but I just couldn't bring myself to say, hey, Ma, this is what happened with your uncle Spanban. And his mother and my mother never got along. I don't know why. He was tall, he was muscular, he was dark, and he had a humongous penis, you know. Um, the stuff that you see in porn. So that happened, and then it became a thing. I think the third time it came, did the same thing again, and then now I had to penetrate him. I'd never had sex at that time. Um, didn't know that there was lube that is used, but there wasn't lube, it was lotion. So plays the porno, does the same thing again, touches me, touches himself, gets into the bed with me. And yeah, man, I don't like the fact that that happened. And I've never spoken about it, but that has affected how I've seen myself. Again, it's one of the many reasons why I would, I mean, I've always been comfortable with my sexuality. And for a while, it got me thinking, oh, was I a target because of my sexuality? Does this happen with other boys? And again, I think my mind couldn't just fathom what was going. I understood what was going on, but then at the same time, I just didn't have the bravery to expose and express. And before that, a year, 2 years before that happened, we were staying at Cotton at very Mahlabatini. And one night again, I was waking up episode later, and from the bedroom to the dining room, then I found my brother with Obabomngane there. They were watching porn, and they were like, "Hey, quickly get away from here!" Kusho Babamncane. And then I moved. So when then that happened to me with this neighbor, this uncle, it got me thinking that could maybe my brother have gone through the same thing? Is this something that guys do vele? Older guys with young boys. I had a lot of questions, but I couldn't bring myself to explain to my mother, to say, "Mother, this is what I'm going through." And also my mother's health was deteriorating at the time. So yeah, man. And I'm sharing this because one way or the other, I think that's when I was 11. That's when my porn addiction also started. And then I was heavily addicted to porn for a very long time. And it's weird how even with the men I'd want to now engage with at my own consent sexually, I sort of like expected them to have humongous genitals, which is not realistic, you know. Um, I fucked up some relationships because I'm like, um, yeah. So with the EP being out, this is just one of those things that I feel called to talk about because it's a compilation of my entire existence, and there's places that I can't go to unless I firstly speak about this. I need to release it. Even before starting to make this video, my throat just started tightening up, you know. At some point I was like, okay, maybe not today. But then Moya was like, hey, you need to do this today. So yeah. And I hope by sharing this, I heal. Um, I hope my addiction to sex, to porn, completely dies out. Um, I hope my infatuation with big genitals and men having to look a certain way, babe dark, babe tall, babe, in order for me to find them attractive. I hope all of that falls away. I know it was wrong. It has taken me how many years? 19 years to be able to speak about this because I'm 29 now. This happened when I was 11. Um, yeah, and I never knew how to bring it up. But if you hear this and I hope it heals you. I don't know how, but I just hope it does something for you. I wish that you guard and be open with your sons in the sense that they can always say, "Ma, this is what's going on. Baba, this is what's going on." And interestingly enough, also, even with an uncle from my mother's side of the family, at some point, when Kale away, it almost happened because Omalumo would start touching me when we were away from home in a very funny way. maybe mhlambe siyobhukuda when we go swimming and stuff, emfuleni ematikula, which is, it was a mind fuck for me. So yeah, um, I'm sharing this so that I release myself from the shame, from the guilt, from the unworthiness of sorts, from all these bad emotions that I've bottled up inside. And even in terms of pursuing my music fully, at some point, I would think maybe just hold on a bit, because probably you'll now release a song and whatnot, and the first thing that people are going to see is your sexuality. Because for a long time, I thought, what was it about Umalum Nati that drew him to me at 11 and he was probably 30, 31? Because that encounter, it happened more than four times, if I recall correctly. So hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just felt called to share this. Um, this is my way of healing, of which my body of work, UBIZO, is literally just about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. That's that. That's that. And also, I don't expect you when you watch this to feel sorry for me. I'm just sharing to say, hey, this is what happened, because with this EP, it literally speaks to my healing and my becoming, and honoring truly the fact that I'm called here as a vessel. My gifting being the spoken word song and healing people. Um, whether in the writings that I do, the music, and all that. So this is basically me just trying to set myself free and release all other emotions that have held me back in regards to this. And I hope from here onward I have a healthy relationship with myself, a healthy sexual relationship, and just become a wholesome, healthy spirit, you know. So, yeah, thank you for your time.